Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hello. Top 10 generals of all time according to math. Okay, cool. Preemptive like, we are the mighty. Sure, subscribe. This seems cool. My name's Connor. I like to learn things. How are you? Good. Great. Good. Original link to the video, top of the description, right below that. Link to the Discord. Click on it, send you right over there. Let's go. I said my name's Connor, right? Hi.
Someone went and moneyballed military history. Ethan Arsht applied the principles of baseball sabermetrics to the performances of history's greatest generals' ability to win battles, and he came up with a list of the 10 best generals of all time. The math is tricky, but the list is definitive. There are just a few caveats. Although an imperfect source, Arsht compiled Wikipedia data from 3,580 battles and 6,619 generals. He then compiled lists of key commanders, total forces, and of course, the outcome. The general's forces were categorized and his numerical advantage or disadvantage weighted to reflect tactical ability. The real power is ranking the general's war score, or wins above replacement.
Okay, this is in depth. I was gonna say, I hope they don't just compare the number of wins, because I don't think that would accurately depict if you're better than someone if you've won a few more battles. You don't know how hard the circumstances were.
The more battles a commander fought and won,
George?
the more opportunities to raise their scores. But fighting fewer battles didn't necessarily help. There were some surprises in the model, like the apparent failures of generals like Robert E. Lee. For more modern generals like Patton, who didn't make the top 10, the relatively small number of battles commanded attributed to their absence. For more about
Alexander
Arsht's
the Great.
results, responses to criticism, and his findings, check out our website in the link below. Remember, this list has nothing to do with overall strategy, and it's all in good fun. So just take it easy, internet trolls. Okay, let's get started.
George?
Number 10, Alexander the Great.
Number 10? Okay.
Alexander was born in
let's-
356 BCE, and he would go on to create one of the largest empires in the ancient world. He earned his first victory in battle at the age of 16 and became the king of Macedonia at the age of 20. Alexander was a great strategist.
I thought
in
he'd be
fact,
number
he won
one.
every battle that he himself commanded. But since his life was cut short and he had only 9 battles from which to draw data, it leaves the model very little to work with. Still, the conqueror of the known world is ranked much higher than other leaders with similar numbers, including the Japanese shogun Tokugawa, German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, and Confederate General J.E.B. Stuart. It should be noted that Alexander's per-battle war average is higher than anyone else's on this list. Number 9, Georgy Zhukov. Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov is perhaps the most acclaimed Soviet commander from World War II. His victory at the Battle of Kursk, the largest tank battle in history, is remembered as the turning point in the war against the Germans, and his assault against Berlin in 1945 hastened the end of the war.
Isn't Stalingrad, wasn't this just right after Stalingrad? So,
War against the Germans, and his assault against Berlin in 1945 hastened the end of the war. Zhukov has only one more battle than Alexander, and his overall score barely squeaks by the Macedonian. Interestingly enough, his score is far, far above that of General Douglas MacArthur or Confederate Generals Jubal Early and John Bell Hood. That's what overcoming the odds does for your war score. Number 8, Frederick the Great. Frederick II ruled Prussia, a powerful kingdom within the Germanic Empire during the 18th century. His military prowess expanded Prussian lands, and his political influence brought Prussia to the front of European affairs. Ruling for more than 40 years and commanding troops in some 14 battles across Europe earned the enlightened Prussian ruler the number 8 spot on this list. His per-battle average was also lower than Alexander's, but on the whole, he was just a better tactician.
who else is gonna be on this?
Number 7, Ulysses S. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant led the Union Army to victory during the American Civil War and went on to serve as President of the United States from 1869 to 1877. Grant's performance commanding Union troops in 16 battles earned him the 7th spot on this list, as well as the U.S. presidency. Although his performance on the battlefield is clearly much better than those of his contemporaries, it should be noted that his Civil War arch-rival, Robert E. Lee, is so far below him on the list that he actually has a negative score.
Lee
Number
has a
6,
negative score?
Hannibal Barca. Hannibal is notoriously considered one of the greatest military strategists of all time, and the greatest enemy Rome ever faced. Born in 247 BCE, he was a general of ancient Carthage known for his conquest of Hispania, the Second Punic War, and the Roman Seleucid War. Hannibal, once captured by Scipio Africanus, is believed to have given his own ranking system.
Anyone who might know more about American history, especially Civil War history, let me know. But, I mean, given the fact that this is including the odds and everything, Grant seemed to, I believe, had a much more industrial, economy to work off of, and the northern states, and I think a bigger population. And Grant was pretty much against all odds the whole time, I think. So I'm surprised that Grant got so much lower than that Lee got so much lower than Grant. That surprises me a bit.
System to Scipio once the two started talking. His personal assessment wasn't far off from the truth. He listed Alexander the Great and himself as best, both of whom are in the top 10, even centuries later. Number 5, Khalid ibn al-Walid. Al-Walid was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad and one of the Islamic Empire's most capable.
Yeah, the Sassanids, Byzantine, the Muslim conquest, I think mainly after Muhammad had died already, was crazy fast.
Al-Walid was a companion of the Prophet
Muhammad
and one of the Islamic Empire's most capable military commanders. His leadership united Arabia under a single leader for the first time in history. He's known for commanding the forces of the Rashidun army under Muhammad and his successors of the Rashidun Caliphate. It's rumored that he fought in over 100 conflicts and skirmishes, but he's best remembered for 14 significant battles in which he remained undefeated against the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Persians, and helped spread Islam to the greater Middle East. Compared to others who fought similar numbers of battles, his score eclipses even Frederick the Great. Number 4, TAKEDA.
That's not surprising.
Being one of the best military minds in feudal Japan is really a big deal, because almost everyone seemed to be a military mind, and being better than someone else might mean you get challenged to a duel. After 18 battles, the Tiger of Kai reigned supreme, in Japan anyway. During the 14th century, Takeda Shingen was a prominent daimyo, or feudal lord, renowned for his military prowess and aggressive tactics in battle. His domestic policies, including systems of law, taxation, and administration, were later incorporated into the shogunate that would unite Japan. Number 3, Arthur Wellesley, 1st Duke of Wellington. Though he would become Prime Minister, Wellesley is best known for his military accolades. It's a pretty big deal to be the guy who delivered a solid defeat to the man they called Master of Europe. Napoleon's old nemesis, the Duke of Wellington commanded famous victories during the Napoleonic Wars, including the defeat of Bonaparte at Waterloo. Like Takeda Shingen,
really great movie. I highly recommend.
His nearest challenger on this list, the Duke saw command of 18 battles, but his war score is considerably higher. Number 2, Julius Caesar. Before he declared himself dictator for life and found himself infamously murdered by all of his friends, Julius Caesar expanded the Roman Republic through conquests across modern Europe. Caesar didn't have command in as many battles as Shingen or the Duke of Wellington, but his war score reflects a lot more risk and shrewdness in his battlefield tactics.
Was Genghis Khan Genghis Khan? Did it mention Hannibal yet? It could be Hannibal. Octavian.
But even Caesar couldn't top Alexander's per-battle war average. Number 1, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Of course.
Yes,
I don't know why
you might have guessed by now, but the number 1 spot belongs to l'Empereur. Napoleon is so far ahead of the normal distribution curve created by the data for these 6,000 plus generals, it's not even close. After 43 battles, he has a war score of more than 16, which blows the competition away. There could be no question. The man responsible for conquering an enormous expanse of Europe during the 19th century is the greatest tactical general of all time, and the math proves it. So that's our list. Leave us a comment and let us know if anyone on here surprised you.
Cool. Yeah, I can't say. One, I don't know enough to really disagree. And Alexander the Great surprised me going into it. I thought he'd be number 1 for sure. I don't know why I wasn't even... I'm surprised Hannibal is not on here. He won a lot of battles, did he not? I remember from watching either History March or Kings and Generals. I think Kings and Generals videos. It might have been History March. I don't know. Cool video, though. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you think someone else should have been number 1. See you next.